If you all remember, this past winter we went to a horse auction with a friend of ours who was looking for a little pony for her granddaughter. And she ended up finding this sweet little mare and won the bid. And we helped her get her home. Joy didn't have a trailer at the time, so we helped her with that. And then the little pony ended up staying at our house for a couple days while Joy got her place situated and set up for her. If you haven't seen that video, you can go back and watch it. It's still up. It's called Pony Herd Dispersal, Buying the Best Pony at the Auction. It's been a few months now, and the little pony mare is all settled into her new home. And, of course, she's doing really good. But the other day, JR got a phone call from Joy saying that the little pony mare's hoofs are getting a little bit long and need a trim. So JR ran up there to help Joy out with that. So we're going to go see this little mare. And then after we get that done, JR is going to work on Rebekah's new client horse's hoofs, Huckleberry Jones. If you haven't met Huckleberry Jones yet, you can head over to Rebekah's channel, Ranching with Rebekah, and learn all about him. He's been in our barn for just a few weeks now, and she's doing a lot of work with him. He's doing really well.
Hi, we're over at Joy's house again today. We had to check on the pony, and it's time to get her feet trimmed. We come to visit her, and we're going to do a bunch of hoof work in this video. We'll go home tonight, and we will shoe Huckleberry. So this is be a whole hoof episode. So first I just got to get it cleaned up where I can work on it.
Horses sense tension, and they even feel the tension through the rope like this. So if a horse is pulling back, if you can get them to stand with the rope slack, they'll be a lot more calm than if you just keep working on them while they're pulling back, because that's an anxious state of mind. And everything you do, even while you're working on their feet, is part of the training process. Right now I'm just using a regular wire brush from the hardware store to clean the outside of the hooves so that I can see what really needs taken off and what kind of condition the hooves are in.
You might want to pull your pants up. You're ruining the video.
Code Brown.
The outside of the hoof wall had made some flares that stick out, kind of like a Nike symbol, and I'm going to file those straight because the hoof wall should be in a straight line from the coronary band down to the ground. It should be one angle. It shouldn't have any type of dip or hoop in it. But when you're doing this, you need to look under the hoof at the coronary band to make sure that you don't file the hoof wall too thin. She had quite a bit of mass there, so I'm just taking off the outside, kind of like what your fingernail hangs over your finger. That's all I'm filing off right here.
I'm just going to trim just a little bit of this frog down. Take a little of the pressure off of it. Right side is growed out more than the left side.
So what I'm going to do now is just take the hoof knife and go between the hoof wall and the lamina line that separates the hoof wall from the sole of the hoof, and make a little channel so that I can see how much I can clip with the hoof nippers to make the hoof sit more level. Because like I was saying, the outside of the hoof, which is on my right, is wearing different than the inside of the hoof, and I need to level that up.
And I just want to try to balance it out a little.
Right here you can see one of those flares I was talking about. It's flared on the inside of her hoof wall in the back.
Good girl.
And the inside's a lot higher than the outside, so I'm just trying to level them up.
Sorry about all the grunting and heavy breathing, but it's pretty hard for someone who's 6'4", a little over, and 265 pounds to work on a pony that's only 30 inches tall.
And then I'll take this sole out just a little bit to keep the pressure off of it.
You don't want the sole sitting higher than the hoof wall or the frog, because that'll become a sore spot or even cause like a abscess. Now it's okay for the frog to come in contact with the ground at the same height as the hoof wall, because that kind of helps spread the weight of the animal back out to the rest of the hoof structure, and it helps in braking and in blood flow. But you want the hoof wall to predominantly carry all of the weight.
Big wings growing out on the outside of these feet. I've just got to get it at a good angle where I can get that back to the
Good girl.
back in line with the hoof.
I said wings there, but I meant flares. It's the same thing.
You're okay. Oh, baby.
If you notice, I wised up and got a stool to sit on. That was too hard on me bending over for that little pony.
I can just trim that as even as possible. Oh, baby.
And
Yes.
yeah, she's doing fine.
Same thing as before. We just got to hollow this out just a little bit. Where she's walking on her heel or on her hoof wall and not her sole. That's pretty good. Just put a little bevel around it, keep it from chipping. You're okay. Stand still, baby. Very good.
I find that putting a little bit of a 45-degree chamfer on the edge of the finished hoof helps prevent cracking and splintering if they're pawing or in rocks. Just very minor though, so you're not just, weakening the hoof wall. Okay, so this is the finished product on Rosie. It turned out pretty well. There was no cause for worry. She's looking healthy. There's no sign of hoof wall separation or laminitis. There's no sign of thrush. I've got them all about the right length and the right angle and matching and level, so she should be good for a long time now.
So now it's time for Huck's shoeing, and to do that we got to do a little bit of a shoeing lesson. So the other day I did this and I didn't get it on film, and I'll show you what I did. He was a little bit kicky about his left back leg. So what I like to do is just take him, half hitch like this back leg, lift it up, he's being good, down. If he kicks, or if your horse is kicking a lot, and you've got this rope half hitched on there, you can hold it while he kicks and just let him kick until he stops. So it looks like he's going to be a good boy today, but we're not going to need that. But what I will do is lift it up and clean it, and if he starts to move without me asking him to, when I'm working on his feet, he's going to get punished, running around the ring a bunch.
For those of you that have been following Huckleberry's story, you know he was a bottle baby, and with that, there comes certain problems. He's a little bit ornery, and he likes to nip. So if you see me swat his nose, you know that's what we're trying to avoid, getting bitten, and we're trying to get him some manners.
And y'all be proud I wore my coveralls, because I knew you didn't want to see no code browns. No matter how much I bend over, y'all should be safe. Little bitty hooves wore down. He's needing shod pretty bad. I'll show you on this right front foot. His foot turns out a little bit, so it's wore uneven. It's not a club foot or anything. It's just not exactly perfect. So I might call and take some pictures of that and send it to my horseshoeing buddies. Get some advice on how to help the situation.
He's gonna.
Okay, I think that lesson the other day has sunk in. He acts like he's going to behave well, so we'll take him over there and start working on his feet.
So you can see this is the front foot, and it's wore down very short, and he's starting to get sore. And you can see that it's wearing uneven from what I was talking about, him throwing his foot out sideways. We're going to try to correct all that.
Figure out which size shoe to put on him. And I've got the two smallest full-grown horseshoes, and this one's a little too small. The very next size up, a little too big. I think I'll do the bigger one to allow his foot to have room to grow. And people are usually interested in the horseshoes. So these are double-aught heeled shoes. And I'm using the heeled ones specifically this time because he's pretty pacey. And that heel, this little raised thing, will help break him into a trot on the back end, and on the front end it might keep him tracking a little straighter than winging out. At least that's the theory. So if you can see, he has wore down the inside more than the outside, and his foot turns out as he walks out this way just a little bit, and it gets exaggerated because this side is wore down more than this side, and then this side is flaring out because of that also. So I'm going to try to just cut from here down to here to match this side, and then just file it smooth. That's what I'm going to try to do. Of course, there ain't going to be a lot. His feet are pretty short already. Ain't going to just be a whole lot of foot to work with.
I forgot to say at the beginning of this video, a disclaimer. I am not a professional horseshoer. As a matter of fact, I really am not very good at it at all. I've only learned from friends of mine that are horseshoers over my lifetime and can just barely get by and help a horse that's hurting. But just in case you were wanting to learn from me as a full tutorial, I am not the place to learn. That being said, I've never hurt a horse either, and every horse I have shod has been able to travel better after I've shod it. So I must be doing something right.
Okay, he's been behaved real good, so give him just a little break. Then I'm gonna try to flip that side.
So my job is to keep this ornery boy from having to bite his butt while he's doing this, and just trying to get him to stand here as best he can. This is one of the orneriest horses I think I've ever met. He's just like a little boy. He won't stand still. He's got the shortest attention span, but he loves attention.
I've got the hoof trim down on this side. Now I'm just trying to pare out the sole. I'm still probably a 16th high there, but I took an 1/8 off, and I don't want to take it too much off at once. Now I'm gonna give him a little break, and I'll use the file on it, rasp. Okay, hold it in.
I was told by a very good farrier one time that you shouldn't change the angle of a horse's hoof more than 1/8 of an inch at a time, because that's how much the tendons can stretch in one day without getting sore.
There's a little line of what looks like gravel stuck between the sole and the hoof wall, and that will work its way up through the coronary band if you don't get it all out. I did not want to dig that spot out right there, but it's concerning, so kind of have to. One of us is bleeding also. I don't know who. Probably me. There. Got that all kind of cleaned out. Okay, we're down to the quick. Can't go any further. Like I said, I normally wouldn't want to go that far, but he's just so quick, so short hoofed, that I didn't have any choice. He's worn down in the gravel. And geldings are boys, they paw a lot more than mares. And it just leads to that kind of a problem. Okay, this needs to be rounder and shorter, so I'll show you how I do that. What I do is I use one as a gauge for the other so that I know how much I've changed it. So these two right now are perfect matches. And I want to make it rounder. Then I got to turn it back in some too.
I hope everybody likes my homemade anvil. That's part of an old railroad tie.
And we compare it back to the first one. And it is rounder, but now I need to turn them heels in more, I'm sure. Okay, let's go check the hoof and see shape-wise what we need to do. Okay. Oh, we're rounder, but now we're way too wide. So I need to bring that into about 3 fingers width. A lot of times I put it on this flat surface to check and make sure it's flat, doesn't wobble. It's pretty flat. I keep Bryce around to pick stuff up for me. Quit.
Nope. He's being excellent, not caring about his feet at all, other than he keeps trying to bite, but small issue.
Okay. That is close enough for my expertise. It's not very good. Might try that right there once.
When setting your nails, it's important to do fast, short strokes with your hammer and not worry about hitting it hard, but instead concentrate on accuracy and speed, and that will drive your nail more efficiently. For those of you that don't know, a horseshoeing nail can only go one direction into the hoof. There's a bevel that helps it come out of the hoof wall at the proper spot and not go inwards towards the lamina.
Okay.
Did you get them all in?
This foot is much more balanced than the other one was.
It has less heel though, right?
Yeah.
For this hoof, I'll just repeat the process. And since it's already more level than the other one, all I have to do is pare out the sole so that it's standing on the hoof wall and fit the shoe.
Are you just putting shoes on the front or the back too?
Back to, maybe not tonight, but
No, he's following his feet. He's being really good. He's being really good. He just likes to use his mouth. Yeah. All the time. He's not even like mean biting. It's just like, I mean, it's biting, but it's just grabbing you.
he's got an old spot in here where he stepped on a nail at some point in his life. And I'm trying to dig it out. It's punky in there, like it's got bacteria. It's very healed though. Oh, it's an old one. Quiet. Bryce?
I'm holding it.
He's like, bite him, bite him.
Got the hoof close to where I want it. Now I'm just assuring that it's level so that the horseshoe can sit flush against the hoof wall and not have any gaps between the steel and the hoof.
There's the bloodline again. If I go any deeper, he'll bleed. And that's not like saying this is what you look for when to stop. I wish I could have stopped a long time before that, but he just doesn't have any hoof. That's why it's important that we get shoes on him now so he can grow some hoof while we're riding him. Otherwise, we were going to have to stop riding him altogether. And I got to get enough of this sole out of there so that there's no pressure on it. But that'll probably do. That's pretty close. That's pretty close.
It's important as soon as you get that nail set to bend it back over the part that's sticking out of the hoof wall and flatten it back to the hoof, because that is extremely sharp, and if they move or you move your hand wrong, you'll cut yourself wide open if you don't take care of that immediately.
Nope, I'm not going between his legs. You can.
You mess up the video because I'm doing a time lapse.
Oh.
It's not like another video.
Got all the nails in. On small hooves like this, I like to just do 3 on each side, even though there's more holes in the horseshoe for more nails.
Let him chew on you.
This final step, I'm snipping the nails off even with the hoof. Then I'll use a set block to set the nails. And then finally, I will clinch them over and file it smooth.
Oh, you're almost done. Oh.
You did? I remember Grace doing it, probably because I really felt like she was gonna.
Yeah, I left a lot of toe showing because I want that hoof to grow in. There's only one adjustment I'm going to try to make.
So in this video, you shoot a pony and a foxtrotter?
Yeah.
Which do you like doing better?
The foxtrotter.
No, which was easier?
The foxtrotter.
Oh, I gotta see the pony video.
Ponies are so hard because they're so tiny and little.
You need to build a stand for them.
He behaved really well, really. If I had a better anvil, I could probably have fitted that one shoe a little better. But, oh well. They fit pretty good. And he was right in between sizes. The little shoes were too small for him, and I was between a triple aught and a double aught.